So, welcome to the Scaleup Valley podcast, where we bring the best of the best to help you scale your business from 1 million to 1 trillion. Today's guest is a very special guest. Her name is Camilla Andersson, investor and chairwoman at Feddie Distillery. Camilla, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Mike.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. We have been partnering for a long time now, and I really admire the amazing track records and the amazing experiences that you have had along your career. So, but for the ones who are listening, as who is Camilla Andersson?
I'm Swedish, but I live in Norway. I moved over here for over 25 years, so I was quite young when I got here. I came to Norway to start my first startup company, and then I've been here now for long. So I am a serial entrepreneur and also a business angel. So I've been, investing at the same time. I've been building my own companies, and I've also been a lot working as advisor, investor, mentor, whatever, for other startup and scale-up companies.
That's really impressive. I've witnessed some of those roles. And we always discuss kind of the three critical ingredients to scale on the show, but feel free to go ad hoc and to share as much of your experiences as you can. And those critical ingredients to scale, in our opinion, are number one, radical focus, number two, world-class leadership, and number three, an execution operating system. So how much importance do you give to focus? So how important is focus to scale up a company based on your experience, Camila?
Yeah. First of all, it depends on if you're on the board or if you are leading the company by yourself.
Right.
But focus is maybe, especially when you start, it's so important to focus on the right things, picking the low-hanging fruits,
Right.
because you usually want to do everything, and usually you don't have enough people. So you have to do many tasks that you usually don't do when you have kind of scale up to a different level. So focus, it's really important, and of course the leader of the company. It has to be both your motivator. It also has to be what do you call it? The one that makes you excited. Be this role model. Yeah. I just think it's for now. I have a founder of this Feddie Distillery,
Yeah.
and she's been running and starting companies. She is 61 years old today. She started when she was 25.
Wow.
And she have had many successes and failures, and even have a very good exit to private equity funds and things like that. But the most exciting about her and her leadership is, first of all, she doesn't have spitz elbow, okay? And she wants always, everyone can have. And it's not important to have, you have to own most, you have to have your titles, nothing. It's like this big family working very hard to grow value for the company. And she lets everyone really take responsible for your actions, your ideas, and also it's very, very inspiring. I think that is one of the most important, especially when you are maybe not, have reached the big numbers and you are kind of in the end of the scale up, but especially when you are a little, you're just starting to scale, it's still very, very important to have some leader that you look up to, inspires you to give your energy and time for making this happen. I think that is what really excites me to work with.
Right. So I think that's strong belief in the vision, right, and the inspiration to embark others in that journey. It's really,
And the
really
and the confidence that you just have to have when you're going to run a company, and if you're going to have, both investors to put money into this and to join this, the partners, the personal for in the company, they have to feel that you are very comfortable and have the comfort on what you are doing. Even it sounds crazy, because to be a entrepreneur, it's sometimes you have to put these crazy goals that you're going to reach, the heaven. And if you do that, you're probably going to reach quite far.
Yeah. Let's go ad hoc already here, and you take care of a lot of fundraising processes, and also you invest yourself. What do you think it's important for an entrepreneur to consider when raising funds?
Well, first of all, you just have to have a great team. I mean, that's the most important to raising capital. But what I learn now, Norway is very, very different towards most of the countries in the terms of fundraising. Both in the Nordics country, even Sweden is quite different to Norway. In Norway, it's very new to invest in unlisted companies. And because we have the culture, everyone puts their money in real estate, and they do that when they're 20 years old. Everyone is having the oil and that kind of type of business. So it's been, we are not known to start small entrepreneur companies. We have just for a few months ago have our first unicorn and things like that. So because usually when they start to grow.
What is the name of the first unicorn?
Oh, it's a.
No worries, we can check later.
Yeah. Because they are, it's discussion about who is going to be unicorn, because we have had many companies that today is unicorn, but they moved out because there are not enough quality people. We were not used to, build this type of company, and there is not enough capital for the scale-up companies to grow in a way. But this is a little history now. Now we are getting there where at least the startup capital is coming. But now we are really looking to scale up capital. And that's what we kind of missing out. And especially the big scale up, it depends on, where the definition is on scale up. But we really need the investors that put in, between 10 and 30, 50 million euros. That's what we are missing out in Norway. And again, because of the culture, the oil, and we invest in real estate. So here also we are more like followers. We always need someone to take the first decision. This is a good investment. And if you do, then a lot of people are followers. If you go to Sweden, people are much more their own decision maker when they're going to invest in unlisted companies. So that's the big difference. Here we doesn't feel the comfort yet to do the decision, is this is a good company or not, because we are still learning how to invest in the startup industry. And then the same, we really need to build more capital funds, investors that can help the scale-up company with the capital instead of moving out of Norway to find the investment capital.
Right. We cover on the show mainly tech, and your experience also relies mainly in tech. But as we said in the beginning, and as you mentioned, you are now leading an amazing project out of tech that is being a success in Norway, which is Feddie Distillery. Would you like to introduce or to share more with the audience about Feddie Distillery and why is it being such a success?
Yeah, it's just amazing. It was this founder Anne Koppang that bought a beer distillery out on an island outside the west coast in Norway. This is the closest island you can get to Scotland. She bought that and decided to make the world's best whiskey, which is quite a high goal. But she managed to get the right team, both of a master blender, the taster, the team that really can make this happen. So now we also, while waiting for the whiskey to kind of grow in the barrels, we have made our first gin, and we just won our first gold medal in London Spirit competition, which means we are in the leading of the world best gin, which is just amazing. And the gin, name of the gin is Nine Sister Ocean Gin, because this started with Nine Sisters. And this company is only funded and invested by women. We have today 121 women in Norway have invested now for 2 years. And we're now doing a new round this summer. And we have got so much publicity because we have decided to get more women to learn about investing in unlisted companies. So that's also my personal mission, is to get especially young women also to join and take more responsible of the financial, but also start owning. Because if women doesn't start owning shares, equity, it's never gonna be a general quality in the world. Right. And that is really important for us, and it's also important for startup. We need more women to start up companies. But then when it's only men investing, they is not the first company that will get invested in, because a lot of men doesn't understand the woman business. So it's very important that we have the gender equality, both not only in gender, but also equality in the type of experience, geographic, and all that. So that is also very, very important, to have the equality in investment. So this is quite special. And now we're also starting something called Young Sisters. That means the daughter of all the investors is now joining a group where they're going to start learning about investing. They're going to invest on the stock exchange. They're going to invest in unlisted company. And it's just a group that can be together and learn. And we hope to motivate them to be more aware about this, and also have a little more fun with financial. I mean, it's like, no, it's boring, it's difficult, I don't know the wordings and everything. The guys, they are doing all they're buying and selling shares on their apps, on their phones. They're really involved in this. We need to do the same for women and girls. So now we are kind of doing whatever we need to do to be a role model, also to have more women, not only in Norway. We want to expand this to other countries also, to see how we can join this. So that is extremely enjoyable.
It's really inspiring. How were you able to kind of create this movement, let me call it a movement, of 121 women investors, and also now doubling down on starting planting the seeds for the future with the daughters of those women
It's funny
investors.
when you're saying call it movement, because that's exactly what we have done. We have also got so much publicity here in Norway, because we have the richest women in Norway joining us. We're having the most famous, we're having the most poorest, we're having people that love only gin or whiskey. We have, it's so diversity in the group. And the youngest is 24 and the oldest is 91 years old. And she invested, and she said to the founder that, Anne, I will invest in this company, and I know the whiskey has to be on the barrels for 3 years. I'm not sure I'm going to live until we will taste and get the whiskey ready, but I love the concept. So it's a movement, really, and I think that is also needed for women to also, joining this movement, and to see how they also can get involved in owning companies, because many of these women are family offices also, and they can also take part in investing in an unlisted company, and especially scale-up companies. And yes, they always maybe focus on different areas like health or the sustainability and environmental and things like that, but we really need them to be active involved. And that's what we also see in the second generation of the family offices. They starting to be involved in investing, and that is also what we're doing. So even if everyone invested in a gin and whiskey distillery, we're now building a hotel at the island. We're setting up small startups at the island, and motivating more women to just join this kind of movement. It's not only going to be a distillery. Of course, we hope and we're going to grow this quite well. And we have an exit plan in 2030 to sell this. And we already been approached by the biggest spirit companies in the world. So it is something you can kind of use our voice now, first of all, in Norway, about this gender equality that is so important for any country to have a voice. So this is one way to do it. So that's something close to my heart. Yeah.
Got it. And I see that there are already other businesses and other industries that you can kind of replicate the same concept and the same principles and keep growing the movement, and also expanding to other countries, starting with the Nordics, right?
Yeah. So now we're going to start exporting and everything. And we were planning kind of, selling, having the market as the India as on the whiskey. And then we wanted maybe we can have a network of young sisters in India that we can kind of bring on in some kind of concept, and be a bridge with our young sisters here in Norway, and again to learn about this, and also give them the power by owning some shares and be owner in companies, because I think that is really, really important.
Right. And what do you think are some of the challenges that women-led companies might have scaling up, or what are kind of, because we talk a lot about kind of the male leadership issues, and I assume that in terms of business is universal, everyone faces the same kind of skill challenges, but the women leadership and the men leadership are a bit different, right? So women might have different challenges than men usually, and of course common challenges.
Yeah, I think that, and that is also important to show what you're just asking, is that women is more like, if you're going to take a new job, it's like you have to know the job. If a man takes a new job, it's like, I'm going to learn this. I believe I can learn this and I can do this. So that's the big difference comparing to what I experienced. difference of men and women. We have to be more taking more risk, and that comes also to investing, because everything has to be very clear. You have to know everything, all the wordings and everything. That's why you don't do it. And the same time, when you're going to do the leadership, you have to be so good at it before you're going to do it. But then we're going to have so less women taking this leadership, and that is important to push them a little and say, you don't have to know this
everything,
because otherwise otherwise we're going to be all the as me, you know, taking the leadership, because now we have a track record. But if you don't get starting your experience and jump into it, you're never going to have the experience. That means that you're going to do the job, and then we're only going to have, you know, 70 years old women being a leader in the company. So I think that is important for us to really, we don't have to know everything. We have to learn and take more risk in all aspects. And also, of course, it's some practical, because most of the women want kids. And I mean, I've been there. I had my baby at the office every day. You know, I couldn't stay home at all. So of course there is some practical, but again, you have to just put, you know, the society have to put this together, and the company has to set some help to it, because it's only a few years or months that it's going to be challenging. There is so many women that done this with kids anyway, but I think that is also a little showstopper.
Yeah. And we see that happening in a lot of executive positions, and maybe what we also all want to see more is really being the number one of the business, right? So leading the business instead of working for the leader of the business. And also, it's interesting what you are saying. It's also having the confidence to take the risk and being supported to take that risk, right?
Yeah. That's what we read, that they have a lot of analysis about this, because it's a big theme. But I seen that it's important for us other women to kind of support and backing these decisions, and also be helping, and also having this network, because many of these women that invested in Feddie, it's also because of the network. I mean, no one ever have made this kind of community with this type of network, which is so diversified, but also the most powerful women in Norway. We are kind of, you know, all of this. And now I having 40 other new women on a list that have take contact with us and wants to join us in the next fundraising. I mean, it never happens. So, and this is also what we want to use then to see how we can get much more out of this, and be empowering other women and support other companies, women, investments in this field, when we have managed to do this, and all the support that we have got for especially for the company. And again, you having all these issues and about the sustainability and environmental and things like that we also have to consider it and changing. Yeah.
That's awesome. And we are getting to the end of the show, and we got a little bit ad hoc here, but I think it was much more fun and much more useful and inspiring for the community. But we always end with this question, and it is: if you would have an opportunity to have a coffee with your younger self, what advice would you offer to your younger Camilla?
Build a network. I mean, that have been the most important thing for me. And I always tell the youngest to start building your network, because it's your network that kind of gives you the leads, the professional help, the possibility in the world. Because before, I'm that old that I didn't grow up. I started my first company without the internet and mobile phone and everything. And your competition was kind of, in your geography. And today it's the competition is so high and it's moving so fast, and you can't do anything alone. I really, really believe you have to work together with a team. You have to have your network. You have to do things together. So building networks from you are young, that's going to be very, very valuable to you when you're going to run a business, scale a business, whatever you're going to do. It's so important to have the network.
Love it. Camilla, thank you so much for making the time. I really appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And congrats for the amazing women movement. Very inspiring to have you on the show as well. And to our community, thanks for being on that side. As you see, we keep bringing you the best of the best so you are able to keep scaling. See you soon. And of course, keep scaling.